तपस्या की अब है पुकार,
का अंश मात्र भी नहीं रहे। तब कहेंगे ज्वाला रूप योगी तो आत्मा संकल्प किया और भाइयों ने अपना वायदा भी लिखा है कि चाहते नहीं है लेकिन आ जाता है। बाप दादा ने कारण सुनाया कि दृढ़ता की कमी, बाप के आगे संकल्प द्वारा वचन भी लेते हैं, लेकिन दृढ़ता ऐसी शक्ति है जो दुनिया वाले भी कहते हैं शरीर चला जाए लेकिन वचन नहीं जाए। मरना पड़े, झुकना पड़े, बदलना पड़े, सहन करना पड़े, लेकिन वचन में दृढ़ रहने वाला हर कदम में सफलता मूर्त है, क्योंकि दृढ़ता सफलता की चाबी है। चाबी है सभी के पास, लेकिन समय पर गुम हो जाती।
बाबा कही, अब वानप्रस्थ अवस्था में हो, तो इस पुरानी दुनिया के हर चीज से दिल उपराम है। जैसे कि लौकिक में भी देखते हो, कहीं बाबा के बच्चे भले में ज्ञान नहीं है, लेकिन वानप्रस्थ अवस्था में जाते हैं, वो भी हल्का हो जाता है। और साथ में जैसे कि खाने पर, पीने पर, सब पर अटेंशन। तो बाबा ने वरदानों से तू सजाया है, तो सवेरे का बैठक बाबा से, और साथ में मुरली पर पूरा ध्यान। मुरली के समय एक शब्द भी भूले नहीं, कहीं भी बुद्धि योग भिटके नहीं, बिल्कुल हर एक शब्द उस समय जैसे कि बुद्धि में धारण होते जाए। भले नोट तो करो, ये भी बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन उस समय अटेंशन से सुनेंगे तो अभ्यास भी रहेगा।
भाग्यवान हम, भगवान हमसे मिलने आते। कितने भाग्यवान हम, भगवान हमसे मिलने आते।
जितना याद करूं उतनी खुशियां बढ़ती है, जितना तुझे चाहूं उतनी चाहत बढ़ती है। तू ही कामधेनु, तू ही कल्पवृक्ष, तेरी यादें ही मेरा शिवालय है। तू सांसों की धड़कन, यादों में नाचे ये मन, नजरों में बस जाना मेरा सुखालय है। विश्वास यही कहता है, तू ही जादूगर, तू ही रत्ना कर, तेरा साथ रहना मेरा शिवालय है। तू प्यार का सागर भरता मेरी गागर, सांसों में बस जाना मेरा सुखालय है। तेरा बनने से बाबा आनंद ही आनंद है, अपना कहने से बाबा आनंद ही आनंद है।
Om Shanti, and good morning, good afternoon to both
Good
Didis.
morning.
And I'm sitting in Oxford. Yeah, good night. Oh yes. Are you still in Burma, Jayanti Ben?
Yes.
Wow. So
Yes, that's right. Late night.
wow. So behind me, this is a picture of the state of the weather currently in Europe. There's a very powerful heat wave passing through Europe at the moment, and it's very, very nicely bright outside. And we're having the UK Teachers Retreat here in Oxford. And I just thought, on behalf of Oxford, there's a little surprise to welcome you. It's coming in right
Thank
now.
you. Wow.
No, it's following me. It used to follow you. Can you see the pictures, the
They all-
flowers? These flowers are picked
Yeah.
especially from the garden in GRC.
Yeah. They always keep changing in our rooms there too, no?
They do. And
Very
Brother
beautiful.
Neville, on behalf of the residents, has said hello.
Beautiful flowers. Beautiful to see Neville.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you for your time. And, I was just appreciating during the meditation two amazing qualities of both of you. And that is consistency and tirelessness in your efforts, in your availability. And, that you keep pushing the boundary of subtle effort making, especially as Maya becomes more and more subtle in these times. And we seem to be facing things from all directions. And I guess just for the audience and everybody online, this is a chance for an interaction with both Didis. And so our request is that if you can put your questions or any comments in the chat, we'll be looking at the chat frequently. So we will start with a few questions from our end and then include any further thoughts and stimulus and questions that come from all of you. And the request is please keep your cameras on so that we can see everyone. And we have online 761 and it's rising. And in most places, as you can see, there are also groups of souls gathered. So a big, big warm welcome to everyone. I thought maybe the best place to start is today's Murli,
Hello.
because Baba gave us a blessing. May you be free from obstacles and may you be a server. And one of the things that Baba was talking about was this whole thing of describing obstacles in our efforts as our old sanskars, and handing over those with a determined thought to Baba. Now, one of the chit chats that emerged in the teachers' retreat today was this thing about handing something over to Baba with determination. We've done a lot of renunciation. So much has happened. And if we haven't voluntarily renounced things, drama has forced us to renounce things. But there are some things that souls are finding very difficult to let go. So can you shed some light, and maybe we can start with Mohini Didi, on this handover to Baba with determination? Is there some preparation required for this handover?
Yeah, Om Shanti, everyone, and lots of love from Baba. Very, very happy to be with the family. As soon as we know the date, we are meeting the family. I really kind of, through the thoughts, reach everywhere and my homes all over the world. I always say, oh, I have biggest family and unlimited homes. So we are Baba's holiest and richest children. So that's the experience. Yeah, Gopi Ben asked very beautiful questions, but before I answer for handing over, I just want to share that pattern of thoughts. It's kind of a very subtle habit. When you have a pattern of habits, whether of thinking, whether speaking, whether reacting or acting again and again in the same way, even knowing that this is not the right, but how the sanskars, what it does to the intellect, that intellect is not able to observe clearly that, yes, this is my sanskar and I shouldn't repeat it. I think it's a very subtle way to realize that these are my old sanskars or I need to change them. And as said, you could observe it through your thinking or reacting. I know that self improvement and self transformation has to be your hobby. Like for me, I don't necessarily like to tell people all the time, you are not right, or you. I immediately look at myself, what better I could have done. And especially for speaking and thinking. Somewhere you have to keep changing your pattern. If I say same thing again and again, it's sanskar. You have to say, but say maybe in a better way, in a gentle way, sweeter way, where it's more effective. Instead of using same habit of saying same habit. So it's a sanskar. And unless we really observe it and be honest with oneself that why I'm using this sanskar, I have to change this old sanskar because change of this sanskar will help me to be closer to the family and also to Baba. So I think that even if somebody comes to me and asks me, which old sanskar you think I have? Sometimes I've noticed, but I don't want to say it because I feel that person have to have, self-awareness. and self-realization. That if you can, up to certain extent, this is right, but after that, what you do is your sanskar. Now, there will always be, we have these two brothers here, brother Anand and brother Raghu from Bridgman Bhai's cottage. And they just arrived yesterday. But the way they are describing Brother Bridgman's nature or the way and how directly he was so connected with Baba, he will always ask Baba for everything. But then how sweetly, generously, respectfully you start training the young people and they develop with those qualities. But if you use old sanskars, you are teaching people externally but not internally. So obstacles, the thing, people always connect their effort, good quality effort or service with the success, with the cooperation from the family, with feeling of love and belonging. And if all that doesn't happen, very subtle frustration and including subtle kind of distrust, some of the qualities remain in the instrument. But if you are changing, if you are using all these qualities, then you will find there is more and more trust and belonging, and you receive that success, and there is no anger, there is no frustration, because you are seeing everything working so well. That's one thing I wanted. It's a big topic, but I thought, but we hand over to Baba in the sense of, let's say if I go in Baba's room, sit in front Baba, and say what I have to say, right? And don't repeat it then. That means in your thought, I have given to Baba. But what happens with us, we keep thinking, it hasn't gone, it's again happening, it's again coming in my mind. So you are holding somewhere. You're not handing over, you are holding. And you have to really let go and not think about it again. But we keep thinking. So that means we haven't given to Baba. I remember that Daddy used to give us example. Many families surrendered in the beginning. Brahma Baba surrendered. He had many houses, so much property, so much wealth. But Baba never repeated in the Murli or anywhere, this is mine. I gave to Baba. Never, never. Because it was Baba's, and he felt he used it for God's task. So why should I? But there were some, oh, I have given so much. I always gave so much. Not only that, but they will also kind of say why it is being used in this way, why it is being used not in this way. So they never forget that it was mine. So it's very subtle whether it is your sanskar, whether whatever you are able to offer. We are fortunate that we could do it. So don't hold it, give, give. You have given. Right?
Yeah, thank you, Didi. I think it was very nice that you began with the broader backdrop of the topic of transforming sanskars, and especially that I can see what you're saying, because it sounds like there is some. I was having a conversation earlier with somebody sounds like they're on a broken record. And it's the same issue that gets repeated a number of times every few days. So, so that whole aspect of stop repeating, I think, is very, very practical. And then, you know, releasing ownership, the feeling of it being mine. Jayanti Ben, welcome from Burma to, and I'm just wondering, you're there. Do you want to just share some inspirations first, and then maybe just take up this thread that Didi has started on this subject of transformation of sanskars from your experience in today's Murli?
Om Shanti, and hello to everyone. And it's a joy to see you all. Yes, being here in Myanmar for the first time this Kalpa, it's very interesting because
Sorry, Sister Jayanti, could you come closer to the mic, please?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's better when you're closer.
Can
Yeah.
you hear me now?
Yes.
So it's my first time here, and it's interesting to see the restrictions that the government places on all the hour and so on. Yet Baba's children have such a beautiful family and such places where they can gather together. I'm at the retreat place now, and we've had a gathering of around 150 people this evening. But this morning we had a gathering of 400 people. And so I'm asking, how does all this happen? And it happens with cooperation. And so there's a few people around them incognito and advise them in a very good way so that everything continues. And so Baba's showing me how this magic is working in so many different ways. And so thank you, Baba, for giving me this opportunity to see what's happening here. And the other thing that the sisters tell me, a little video had gone around, and I'm sure many of you would have seen it, but you saw sisters lifting the steel frames, pouring the concrete, etc., etc. And so I asked them, how did all this happen? And they said that they had an architect to do all the design. They gave them the idea of how they wanted it, but the architect did the practical details, so depth, etc., etc. And they had an engineer who taught a few of them for 2 months. And then the rest of it, they got on with it with Baba's help. And since that first one, they've built 7 homes, 3 centers in other cities and other buildings around the main building in the retreat place. So Baba has created an army of Shiv Shaktis, some brothers too. And Shaktis here are telling me that we only came to Baba very late. They started in Myanmar around the year 2000. It happened. Many other centers started much, much before then. And so they decided that they're going to have to do everything they can with body, soul, and wealth, whatever talents and skills they had. Mostly they come from Baba, but they had that determination to use everything for Baba, and it's happened so beautifully. So I'm glad that Baba gave me this opportunity to be here with Hansaben and Baby Ben, and it's just been a very rich, lovely experience. So the topic, and yes, thank you, Didi, for sharing. My own experience about surrendering sanskars is, when I was working on one particular aspect, it took a long, long time, and I thought I dealt with it, but it kept coming back. And then, over a period of time, I said to Baba, you have to help me. You have to take over and do something about this. I've really tried my best. And within a short space of time, that sanskara had changed. And I knew that it wasn't just my own effort. The Baba says, you make the effort and I'll give you help. So the addition of Baba's help then brought about the transformation. So yes, when I read this in today's Murli, I was very grateful that Baba it up. There has to come that point of surrender where I say, Baba, now you help me. That's the ego getting in the way, maybe. But first I think, okay, I know what I need to do. But Baba then taking it on board, I need Baba's help, and that surrender of ego, I think that's what makes things shift and move around.
Thank you, Jayanti
Is there
Ben.
any problem there with the internet or with the mic? Or we couldn't hear anything much. Can you check?
Can you hear me now? Or you,
It's
I've
lot
got
of
this on at
lo-
maximum. So
There's just a lot of
No,
interference, Jayanti Ben.
it's the breaking of internet and
okay.
sound is breaking. We can hardly understand anything. I don't know about others, but
The sound was breaking up in between, so I don't know if there's some background noise there.
Okay, we had a fan on because it's pretty hot here, but we switched the fan off.
Oh, that's much better. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks for commenting on that, Didi. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
yeah, but still it's breaking. I think maybe little far from the mic or something.
I'm as close as I can be now. Yeah. But yes, the internet
No.
here is not as powerful as in some places.
Okay. Now is better.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll
Thank
stay.
you.
Okay.
I think just to essence, one of the things I
Okay.
picked up.
Essentially, I was supposed
Yeah, go on, Jayanti Ben.
I was going to say that first I was giving news of the service here and how there are restrictions, but yet service is flourishing, but also that the young sisters who've come to Baba and surrendered have a very determined thought that they use their time, their well body, their strength, everything they have for Baba. And so they built themselves 7 houses here in the retreat place, but also in other places around. So that was the first part. And the second part was when I make effort to change something and it's not working, then I say to Baba, Baba, you have to help me in this. I have to give up the ego that I can do it, but surrendering to Baba and take then brings about that change.
That's great. Very clear. Thank you.
Good.
I guess that this is making me think how important surrender is in the part of transformation. And at the same time, the aspect of drawing Sakash from Baba. And I'm going to read you something from Dadi's, one of Dadi's classes from quite a while back, where she says, Sakash is where the soul draws light and might from Baba to overcome obstacles and pass tests. It is so important to remain open to receiving pure feelings from God, like receiving the rays of light from the sun. But sometimes it's as if souls have drawn the curtains on a sunny day or closed the door to the light. For Sakash, we have to become worthy to receive it. When you please the Lord with an honest heart, use your time in a worthwhile way, and you've finished all types of arrogance and insult, then because of remaining in self-respect, you become worthy of Sakash. So, you know, she's put a very realistic spin on this topic of receiving Sakash from Baba. And I think my question first to you, Didi, Mohini Didi, is what are the curtains you're noticing in your interactions with souls that are coming down, preventing them from receiving full light and might from Baba right now?
I think that yesterday something very interesting came up is that doing yoga for others, like some souls do yoga for me, please do yoga for me. And I was in New Jersey and I was speaking, and suddenly, like, it became very clear for me, which I had been saying for a while, but it became more clear that I have to do yoga for me. I remember Dadi Janki, somebody said, we are doing a lot of yoga to get this house. And Dadi will say, why you have to do yoga for getting house? And I realize more and more, which I am doing, is you have to have yoga for yourself, to burn your sins, to transform yourself, to have experience of meeting with Baba. But then you can give sakash to others, because there are some situations happening within the families, and so whether it is child or family, anyone. So I do yoga for myself, but then I give sakash to the souls, not do yoga for them. Now, when you are asking about not able to receive the sakash, because if there is some karmic account, and that karmic account could be suffering of, it could be blocking mind, intellect, or bodily sickness, or circumstances, because they come in different forms. So when there is a really big eclipse of some karmic accounts from the past, they can't receive any feelings. You love them, they can't receive. So they cannot receive from God even, right? Because it's a blockage there.
Mm.
So at least we keep sending our good wishes and sakash could help them to open more, so that when they are opening more, or as Dari said, open their curtains, in a way, in the doors of the mind open, then they will be able to receive. So I think that we have to could help them with giving them more pure feelings, more good wishes, God's love to them. It's not my child, my this, no, Baba's child. And that kind of love can help them to open their windows, open their curtains, and help them to receive from God.
Didi, I think that you've answered one of the questions linked to this, where how do you help a soul that is under an influence? And I can hear from your response that it is the sending of Sakash that will help. But is there anything else you want to say to this? Because I kind of feel like when there's influences there, there are curtains there, but the soul often can't perceive the influence themselves. And
Mhm.
sometimes, there's a question from a sister that came in. She said, do I have to realize every single sanskara? And if I don't realize one, will I fail? So what will it take for someone to perceive influence, and how do we help someone who's influenced?
I think any kind of help is, you know, sometimes silence can help also, because the words are not received properly, or even if you say it, they're not understood properly. Sometimes more distance and misunderstanding can be created. So work in silence, pure drishti, pure feelings, and what Baba called Mansa Seva. I think that's the best thing to do it. And if that is helping, then influence will reduce, and possibility of taking on to the right thing. But when there is influence, they can't relate to anything we do it physically. That's what I feel.
Good point. Thank you, Didi. Jayanti Ben, I know you were on earlier today with the UK teachers, and several questions on Sakash emerged, and also the topic of Mansa Seva and the distinction between the two. So we heard from Didi, and we kind of get a sense of Sakash being that light and might from Baba. But today, when Baba talked about being a bestower and being a server, is very much this feeling that Mansa Seva is maybe a preparation, but a benevolent exercise of the mind consistently. It's sustaining benevolence all the time, in every situation, for yourself, for every soul. And I'm just wondering if you'd like to kind of speak to the difference between both, because it's a question that's come up several times for people. The difference between Mansa Seva and Sakash.
My understanding and my experience is that Sakash is really God's light and love. And when Baba says, you give Sakash, what I'm doing at that moment is keeping Baba in front of me and allowing my remembrance connected with Baba, but letting Baba's light and might reach the other. Or even maybe it's not light and might, maybe somebody described it this afternoon as comfort. Maybe they feel lonely, maybe they feel that nobody's supporting them, nobody's helping. Baba's comforting them and helping them in whatever way is needed. Baba knows, and that soul is then able to receive that Sakash from Baba. Mansa Seva, I have to prepare my mind to be able to give that power and serve others through the mind. The only way that I can do that is if I clean my mind of the things of the past, forgiving myself, allowing myself to seek forgiveness, have that humility. So the whole process of just being able to cleanse the soul and clean the mind means that then, yes, I can sustain pure thoughts, good feelings, not just for one or two that I'm doing for them anyway. But sometimes there's another soul and I don't have such pure good feelings for them because of some hurt from the past. And so it comes up a bit differently. But can I really clear myself of those karmic accounts and just be able to have nothing but pure, loving, good wishes so that they too may move forward in whatever it is they're having to deal with. So I see how Mansa Seva is a step, but then when the mind is clean and pure and I'm able to give those good feelings and good wishes, then in Sakash, what I'm doing is bringing that soul in front of Baba, and just for 30 seconds, no further than that, but then Baba's dealing with them and giving them whatever it is they need. So I think that it's a very important difference in that way.
Thank you. I like the way you speak about Mansa Seva as a preparation and a cleaning, so that what Baba has to give a soul, Baba can give. I think the next thing coming up, again, was stimulated from a few conversations happening here. The role of forgiveness in being benevolent. Somebody was sharing this morning about how they'd been in a situation where they had felt excluded from something. And they were affected because they felt excluded. And as this person was talking, they were going to Baba's Gyan and quoting Baba to say, when a test paper comes, it's for your learning and for your sustenance. But what was very clear was the feelings of being excluded hadn't transformed for that person yet. And I guess in that process, if I'm thinking for myself, the times when if I've faced something like that, I've had to go in and say, was there a time when I was like this? And really kind of feel the detrimental nature of that sanskara in me, so that I can close the loop and say, I really don't want to be like this anymore. And then the journey of forgiving the self, because it's not about the other. So I'm just wondering, in your experience, Mohini Didi, this whole thing of forgiveness of yourself. Because yes, we have done a lot of things for 63 births, and those subtle sanskars remain, and they get triggered. Can you speak a little bit to this thing, subject of self-forgiveness?
I think many of us came to Baba when we were very young, and everything what we heard and learned was new. And then, of course, we were given different assignments. There are two types of mistakes which we make. We don't do sinful actions, definitely. One is mistakes in following Brahmin life, and second could be mistake in what we are given as assignment to do. And I remember that when it came to, like, Didi will give us something to do, or Dadi will tell something to do, and you try your best. And then it really doesn't work out the way you want. So I will go and say to Didi, I don't think I can do it. Didn't come out right. And it was wrong. Didi said, there is always benefit in the mistake also. There is a saying in Hindi ki bhool mein bhi bhala hai. If this mistake wouldn't have happened, you wouldn't have learned that. So whenever I wanted to give up, she always said, you must have learned something from this. You must have learned something. And it's true. I still remember so many stories from my childhood, being with the seniors and still doing assignment. Second is that once in a while maybe, you sat to eat food, you didn't remember Baba. Mostly we always remember Baba. Some of the mistakes which we make in our spiritual efforts. I never have a, sanskar or habit of feeling guilty about anything. I immediately say, yes, it was my mistake. I will do it better next time. So those who are not able to uh, kind of realize and say sorry for what they have done, they carry that guilt. But I never carry the guilt, never. I immediately either ask for forgiveness to that person, if it is with people, and if it is with myself, then I say, yes, another chance when I get, I will do better. So I think that anything, but of course, you tell Baba also, if there is some mistake which could be part of use of, like if you get angry on someone, you feel you don't want to do that, right? So you go and say sorry first to Baba, and that to that soul that, it was sometimes under pressure. you get little irritated or doesn't happen much. But I'm talking of earlier days of Brahmin life. So I don't have this habit to carry. And I always see what I learned, what I can do better now. And look at where I am today is because of transformation, because of good efforts. So I'll always think in that way. So there is no guilt ever. And I know that Baba has forgiven and the family also. No, because whatever you are able to share with others is much more than what you are not able to do. Everyone has limits also. So I realize my limits, but I also appreciate as much I am able to do.
Thank you, Didi. You know, I don't know whether it's your presence or just the way you say it, but you make it sound so easy and doable. And I really like this statement, bhool mein bhi bhala hai. And so, okay, mistakes have been made, realizing the learning, the benefit, but also having the humility to just admit and be transparent kind of really opens up a path for feelings to be clean. And I think this subject of not carrying anything is important. And Jayanti Ben, I wanted to ask you this because it's something that Daddy's often spoken about a lot, which is the cleaning of the chit. You know, I know it gets spoken about as the memory track, but often we have a lot of ideas for moving forward in Brahmin life. We understand Baba's Gyan. So to conscious level, we are making the effort to do and be and all the right things. But there's a vibrational rubber band because everything that Baba is giving us perhaps isn't reaching others, those vibrations, because our chit is still polluted. So, can you share with us this whole thing about perhaps what Daddy has illuminated about what it takes to clean the chit so that we stop hitting the playback button again and again, and like Mohini Didi said, stop repeating things again and again? Can you talk to a little bit about this subject of clearing the chit?
There's something that Daddy had mentioned very categorically about Chit. And in that, she'd said that you can be making effort with the true heart, good feelings, but and the intellect is all sort of gyan, but the chit interferes. And so that made me think a lot about, well, how can I understand and relate to this concept of chit? And I realized it is the subtle impact of the things of the past that I'm carrying. Sanskars are the remnants from past births, or the impressions from past births. But chit is the current life and the things I've been through now. A subtle way that's still very, very deep within the soul. And the way to clean that out is, I think, firstly, by emerging good memories, good feelings, and constantly sustaining those. That used to share beautiful stories of Sakar Baba 60 years later, 50 years later, and it would be so fresh in her mind because she would replay those memories again and again. Impact on her chit was absolutely that it would just be those good memories and nothing else at all. So can I also do the same? Can I make sure that there's nothing but good memories, and through that, my chit is becoming elevated and being cleansed? But the other thing is that at this moment, whatever it is I'm doing, can I also change my attitude? Baba uses this beautiful expression very often, smriti, vritti, drishti, kriti, and so on. Now, just coming back to those earlier points, smriti, how is my smriti created? How is my awareness created? And that creation is through churning of gyan. And through the churning of gyan, my awareness is lifted, my perception, the vritti, the attitude is lifted, but also then the chit is being cleansed. And so the impact of my present effort is bigger than the impact of the imprints left from the past. And so the cleansing process happens not by doing anything about it except the churning of gyan, so that there's a replacement process. And through that replacement, as now I'm left with a clean chit, so that then it's only those things that are there that I want to be there, the good memories, and through the churning, the other things have been washed away. That's my understanding of the chit and being able to deal with it.
So is it, Jayanti Ben, it sounds like what you're saying, it's an elevating your consciousness and awareness to allow like a flushing to keep happening, right?
Yeah.
Thinking, speaking, churning, and consistently keeping an elevated awareness. Now, I guess this kind of takes us on to the next topic, that it seems to be this is deeply connected with our sense of self. And soul consciousness, somebody's brought in this question around that, going back to the basics of soul consciousness is the key to mastering everything that Baba is saying of us. And in connection with this, Mohini Didi, something that you've always talked about, that Jayanti Ben just referred to, is you talk about three things: smriti, sthiti, and swarup. So smriti, awareness; sthiti, stage; and swarup, form. Now, Baba's given us so many drills, and even today, Baba drew our attention to this drill of changing form, but in a second. And I think the challenge here, as we practice exercising our forms of self-respect, is how to go from smriti, awareness, to swarup, form, in 1 second. Because sometimes it takes a few days to practice something before you actually feel it or become it, and what does it mean to be that form? So Baba today made us practice the point form in a second. And then he alluded to the 5 drills. So from your personal experience and effort, what does it take to go from awareness to form in 1 second?
Answer is clear, it's practice. That means, like I was looking at and reminding myself, yesterday we had to go to New Jersey whole day, and then I said, but how many times did I practice? And I realized that what Baba was saying today, that you should be able to do it in a second. And of course, I had been practicing for so many years. I can do it, definitely. But then that involves a lot of different practices of, like, full stop for drama, not taking things to your heart, not keep remembering what happened. There are so many inculcation or dharnas, or in other words, there are many, many qualities. Everyone has one's own part to play. So if I even observing whatever I am observing, but I'm not taking it in, I say, okay, beautiful. And also this whole attitude of appreciating people, encouraging people, help them to look at their good qualities. All these dharnas which we had been doing all the time in our lives definitely helps us to make full stop within a second, which I definitely able to do. But even when Baba says about practice of within a second, be embodiment, right? Now, within 1 second, yes, I am a point of light. not thinking I'm point light, be there in silence. If we keep doing that, it becomes your stage. That means you can stay in that stage, or you can create that stage also. And then your personality also shows. Sarup means being embodiment. Yesterday, so many souls came to me and were sharing their experience. And for myself, even I find like 7 o'clock meditation or during day, there's so much inner quietness. There is so much peacefulness and very beautiful insights, not only for knowledge, for people, for events keep emerging. So I think that practice is very important. We have all four subjects: churning of knowledge, definitely listening to knowledge. This morning I heard Murli twice, and first I heard on my own, and then I heard from Sister Gayatri reading Murli, and for a Vyakti Parivar. So many words came to my attention. Then I say there are people who just say, I read Murli, I heard Murli, but there were so many subtle points. While listening, you realize and you want to do it. So, of course, like Mohini Didi was speaking this morning and saying, don't miss Murli, study properly. And we know Didi's love for Murli was so much. So I think I will again suggest everyone that go back to your fundamental, and that is Murli. Whether it's reading, whether listening, and listen to in a very, very proper way. So a lot of things really resonate, and you start realizing like about old sanskars. So I would just say study properly, and then of course your awareness is connected with the study. But as you were talking to Jayanti, that don't take things to your heart. We take everything to the hearts, and that's body consciousness, definitely. So then our lot of time is wasted on, and people also not sure what they should say to you or not. You know, then you are very light. People are able to talk to you, find your availability. So this whole thing of what Baba said, within a second is possible, but after all different efforts we have to make about Murli, about Dharna, about not keeping anything in your heart for anyone, immediately say, okay, that's the part of that soul. I remember somebody gets angry. I don't, because that's that person's inner frustration, and people have to take out somewhere. So it's a habit to be kind of detached and observe and then play your part. But same is about five forms. When I was listening, I said, when a second five forms, no, in a second, whichever form is required. Do I need to be in worship worthy form? Can I do that? Can I be in my Brahmin life? Yes, can I do it? Within 1 second, any form, I think requires much more practice on all of us. But yes, I think I can do it. But I think these five forms we should practice more. So it is possible, and it's becoming more and more easy. But then I definitely feel be a good student, and yeah, you will able to do that. It won't be difficult.
I think, Didi, you've picked up already on some questions, because a couple of people were asking this. What happens if we remember things that happened to us many years ago? And I like what you said, don't let anything stick. It is an aspect of body consciousness. So, Jayanti, just over to you. Do you have any thoughts on this whole subject of awareness to form in 1 second?
I think it is, as Didi said, that you have to practice. It's not going to happen overnight, which is why Baba keeps reminding us that whatever you're practicing now is going to determine your final state. And I connect the two things very deeply. If in little things I can practice just becoming the embodiment of that point and feeling that I'm that pure, powerful, God's child, then in the final, I'm very, very aware of how fast drama is moving, not just in one part of the world, but in several parts of the world, and natural disasters are just heaping on one after the other. So, given all of that, how quickly can I have confidence that in my final moments, I won't be confused, I won't be afraid, but I'll just simply be that point of light and be with Baba. So my final thoughts truly lead me to my destination of Mukti and Jivan Mukti. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to only happen if I practice this today and if I can experience that. And yes, all of us have the experience of not just thinking about the soul and the awareness of the soul, but being the soul. And in that feeling, that form of being the soul, then others can also feel the silence from you, the purity from you, the stability you have. And so it's helping me now on my journey to keep practicing this. And I liked it very much when Baba said, every hour, just keep checking. Every hour, just keep checking. The system of traffic control, but sometimes we take it lightly, we don't take it seriously, and really go to the depth of the experience that we could. But if we take it seriously and go into that experience, I think that is a very beautiful way to prepare for me today. Whatever happens, can I quickly come back into this awareness, but also preparation for the end times. And so it is possible, but I have to just keep practicing it to make it more and more natural. So that in fact, then it's not even that in a second, that it's like we saw with the Dadis, Dadi Prakash Mani, Dadi Gulzar, Dadi Jayanti Didi. It was a natural stage of soul consciousness. The embodiment, the form was there in front of us to feel. We could feel that this is the stage that they were in. So yes, my practice of power is going to help me create that natural awareness and form.
Can you take us through 1 minute of your personal practice?
Okay. I visualize the shining star that I am. And now it's not just a visualization, it's a feeling. This is my eternal form. I, the child of God, and I feel God's love, God's light shining through the soul. This is my original state of being, my natural state of being. And I wish this to continue, not just for this minute, but at all times. And I'm going to keep coming back to this again and again. Thanks for the opportunity, Gopi.
Thank you, Jayanti. It's always nice to have our seniors share their efforts with us because it makes a big difference. You can carry us there, and it just reinforces the effort that we need to make. Mohini Didi, there's been a question that's come in where Baba talked about quite a while back that catching power is the basis, touching and catching power is the basis of our efforts. And the question is, sometimes we receive the touching, but we don't catch it till later. we think, oh, yes, I got that touching, but we didn't act on it then. So, what is the effort that's needed to actually catch the touching and act on it?
When you know that you are missing that touching, so next time don't miss it. You're realizing, no, that I think of that later. So next time you do it immediately, no? Don't miss it. Because what is happening, let's say these days, all of us so busy, so many things. I have a thought, can we do this? If I don't do next minute, I forget. So we have creating now habit. As soon as thought comes, either do it or tell someone to do it. So realizing that I need to do this now, before we use, I will tell later. Even phone call, I said, do it now because after that, so many things will come up, you will forget. So same is about touching. You know, I try to express it or I try to see what action I need to do it. So knowing that you forget it or catch it later, but at least you know there was a touching. So next time when there is a touching, act immediately. Right? It's that very simple. That is called transformation, no?
Mm.
I know that in our working, we never had to deal so much as we have to do now.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes in the morning, I am with India for so many calls or different situations are being, but okay, they did move forward. Like we start knowing how to function properly, whether with the mind, whether with the touching, or very beautiful answers come. And then we say how to immediately tell them, talk to about it. And so I think you have to start noticing your external, situation or liability, responsibilities, and then how to manage it with your mind and intellect. It works okay. A lot of people tell me how you deal with it. Or I said, well, you have to organize, start seeing what is the best way to do it. And I think it's very well managed, it's proper. So I will recommend as soon as you have touching, if you are not able to relate to it, then you write down that touching. There was a time I had a point and I will immediately write it. And then I know later on I can read about it and share. If you not, then, relate it immediately.
Mm. Didi, as I'm listening to you, it just strikes me that you're somebody that trusts your mind a lot to receive touchings. Can you talk about the role of trust in catching and touching?
My whole life is about trust. If I trust God, then self trust comes, and then you trust others. So I think that trust is uh, trust in Hindi is called Vishwas, and they say that Vishwas ka bal, the power of trust, and so it is 100%. Actually, it is maybe 99, but I do live by trust, and because trust is something which gives you courage and it's like it's a inner power, a lot of power in the trust. So not only I trust my mind, but I am able to trust my mind. See, when there is purity, there is goodwill. I don't think I have ever thought bad about anyone in my life. Just be generous, be loving, be giving. That had been my characteristics since childhood, and I kept them and I maintained them. And then when Baba says be bestower, then it takes you little more higher. So then definitely you trust your mind. I do trust my mind.
Mm. Thank you. That was a nice connection with purity. that really if you may sustain, and I've often experienced that myself, a sincerity in your being, in everything, in every interaction, then it's like a stream that continues. There's nothing not to trust in the drama.
Lot of people think purity is only celibacy, but purity is of mind, words, actions, attitude, vision. Real purity is really in all that. And that means you are clean, you are honest, you are generous, all that emerge from that quality of purity, which should be natural in us.
Thank you, Didi. Jayanti Ben, one of the questions that's come in is related to this month's Avyakt topic, which is about volcanic yoga. And one of the things that Baba spoke about perhaps a few days ago, the signal where the situations of destruction are waiting for the signals from you benefactor souls. And I know that you talk a lot at public conferences, and often people ask you this topic. What is the benefit in the times going in now? But also, for Brahmins, I think at this stage, the question is that to see humanity suffering and to see suffering is very difficult. So how can I be completely benevolent in the face of suffering?
Sometimes Brahmins, because there's a lot of goodness and softness in Brahmins, when we see suffering, we ourselves feel pain. But if I can think of Baba at that moment, if I can both connecting with Baba and then letting Baba's light reach the people who are suffering, then I'm not impacted by that suffering, but I'm giving them something that they can also take help from. And of course, it's not a question of seeing benefit in suffering in that way, but we're seeing that these are the times when everybody's karma is being finished in one way or another, and for some through suffering. And so really I just need to stay very much as the detached observer, so that I see the suffering, but I'm not impacted by it, and I don't get to suffer myself, see their suffering. The stories we hear from Brahmins sometimes are also of a lot of pain and distress that they're going through for various reasons. But especially when you're looking at the news and you see the image of some of those things that are in the world, well, what can I do at this moment? I can bring Baba in front of me and let Baba's light reach them and help them and support them. But yes, I know that time is moving fast and the transformation is going to happen quickly, but it does depend on the collective power of the Brahmin family. I think this month I'm seeing what's going on in the world. Baba's Avyakt signal is coming very beautifully, and we need to give it a lot of our attention. And so Baba's been emphasizing the collective power of the Brahmin family, so that we're able to create that power of benevolence that brings about the transformation. It's not that we're saying destruction must happen, that's different. But we want souls to experience liberation, we want souls to be free from their suffering, and it's going to be that power of benevolence of wanting best for all. I've made my effort to become karmatit, and I'm now making effort to help others also. So our volcanic yoga has to intensify so that my personal karma is settled. Mohini Didi was very right earlier when she said my yoga has to be for my transformation, settling my own karma. Volcanic yoga will help me do that. Just a little bit of conversation with Baba, just a feeling I have a good connection with Baba, that's of course important. But beyond that, that stage where it's really the fire of yoga, the fire of love that's bringing this transformation, and through that then, this pure benevolence for the world. I want souls to be liberated from their suffering.
Thank you, Jayanti Ben. I think that was quite clear. I'm just
Share one
looking.
thing.
time. Yeah, Didi, that's what I wanted to ask you. Your thoughts on volcanic
Yeah,
yoga.
just one little thing I want to say, that it's not I want to think that way, but when I listen to the Avyakta about gathering, then the power of gathering will bring. So I'm just saying that, like all over there are bombs, and they are being used on this and making it more suffering for human beings. And so one time, Baba had said that the natural calamities will also be part of the final, change in the world. So I think that, that's what when Baba says, do collective yoga and let it, the fire burn. And so I'm just thinking that now is the time, like there is, will be so much sufferings that everyone will say it's better to complete it, finish it. And that's the thought. As I said, I'm not want to think that way, but that's the thought coming in my mind.
Mm.
Okay, it's all right. Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Didi. Didi, one more question, perhaps for both of you, that's come in at the last moment, and then we need to wrap up. So thank you to everyone else for their questions. Your relationship with your worthy of worship form. This is a form that many Brahmins have often questioned about. Is this a form that's needed right now at this point in time? And what's your own personal relationship with your worthy of worship form? Mohini Didi, you want to start first?
I love that form because I had been sharing in a Vyakti Parivar that since I have born at very young age, I saw a very little goddess within me. And I don't know, that has stayed with me. And because I feel so good being a bestower, just bless everyone. And that's what Baba wants us to be. So worship worthy form is the form of bestower. And that's what Baba is saying we should practice more and more. Be that goddess form, worship worthy form, and be a bestower. So I love that.
Thank you. Jayanti Didi?
For me, a little bit different. I think about the Copper Age and how the light within the darkness, how there's the Chinese symbol, the yin yang, so on the light side there's a patch of dark. And that's the time when we have everything, but have a relationship with God in a conscious way. And then there's the dark side, and in that there's a patch of light. And for me, that's the light of being able to love God, want to have a relationship with God, and so on. So for me, the worship worthy form is that time when I become the worshipper and I'm remembering God. And so that's bringing light into my life. And so I love that experience.
And gentlemen, someone is just saying when they see suffering or see people crying, they want to send out physical messages of love to them. Should they, or should they just do Mansa Seva?
If I know somebody and I know that they're going through a difficult time, yes, let me reach out to them, phone them, call them, whatever it is I can do, that's important. When I used to get a message from Madhuban to say, how is so-and-so doing, tell them they'd be so happy that Madhuban remembered them. So today we have the facility, we can reach people at a time of need. They feel very supported and they remember Baba more. So can I do that? Yes. But if I can't, then Mansa Seva.
Okay, so just in the final closing couple of minutes, I just want to ask you for your closing remarks and then move to Mohini Didi for her closing remarks.
Myself, I'm seeing that Baba's really wanting us to come to that stage of just being able to give absolutely everything to everyone. And of course, if I'm keeping Baba with me, then I'm full myself. And so then to be able to give is natural and easy. So the first is just stay connected with Baba and then let Baba do the work that's needed.
Mohini Didi?
For my natural, easy, and consistent. That's what I think Baba wants us to be a natural yogi, easy yogi, and be consistent. Because in yoga, then in your service, your actions, for everything, just be consistent is very important.
I think the thanks is coming from a lot of people online, because what I've felt anyway, as both of you have spoken on this occasion, you've not only explained to us in an easy way the preparation and the focus of what we need to be and do now, but it feels like you're also giving us the power to be and do it. And I just want to say a heartfelt thanks, not just from myself, but I know that there's a lot of people online sharing thanks as well. So let's
Gopi
stop here.
Ben, it's thanks to not only you, but all the listeners and all the family that you decide to spend time with us, and you make time, and sometimes you have other engagements, but I heard even now here in Harmony House, they said, oh, they will eat bhog and listen to us. So I really appreciate everyone's interest in being with us for this time. So I also want to thank you all.
So lots of love to everyone. Thank you, Gopi, for excellent questions. But also, yes, a beautiful reminder that this is the month of July, when it's Didi's month. And so Didi seems very present with us at the moment. Om Shanti.
So if everybody leaves their cameras on, we'll have now 5 minutes powerful meditation to take Drishti from both our Didis. Thank you.
A happy coexistence, harmonious order, where there is no place for sectarian walls, dividing us by religion, caste, class, or gender, where everyone's dreams come true. Where do we find this happy world? We're far away from God and peace. It will take our effort, our love and sacrifice. Let's all come together and build a truthful world of love, a world full of hope, and a happy world of peace. Let's all come together and build a truthful world of love, a world full of hope, and a happy world of peace. We've got one roadmap, charting our course. We're on a journey together to live without hatred. Every home shall prosper and there will be home. Families will stay united and strong. Where do we find this happy world? We're far away from God and peace. It will take our effort, our love and sacrifice.
Om Shanti. And thank you.
Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shanti Didi.
Didi Mohini
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Jayanti Didi.
Shanti.
Mohini Didi. Shanti Jayanti Didi. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Jayanti Didi.
Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Thanks, Baba.
Om Shanti Didi. Om Shanti to all BKs.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Shanti.